I hate Pepsi.
Or you want to say that, though?
I'm really not.
No.
I can't stand Pepsi. I hated doing that dumb commercial.
In the wake of Michael's passing, every day unveiled new evidence of how Michael's downfall began decades ago.
I want to show you and our viewers some video that we've got a clip of from Us Weekly.
Us Weekly magazine has obtained footage of the 1984 Pepsi commercial shoot that went terribly wrong for Michael Jackson.
The gossip shows reached out to me for perspective, but everyone wanted sensationalism, not the truth. Those who knew Michael understood the impact of the 1984 disaster long before the footage was leaked out.
Yeah, I was present at that. I did not manage him at that moment. I watched all the takes. We were done. I said goodbye. Then they called for one more take.
There you see it. His hair, his head, his scalp catches on fire.
That was a terrible, terrible day. And that caused him a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort in his life.
Author Ian Halperin.
Jane, let me tell you one thing about all this. Now's not the time to dig up the skeletons about Michael Jackson. The world's in mourning. His family's in mourning. We got to focus on a proper investigation.
He did get addicted to the drugs after the Pepsi accident.
Throughout all of Michael's life, we knew that Michael had a medication problem. Nothing stopped him from performing, but he had this problem.
Did anybody ever tell him he was a mess? Did he have people around him who could tell him the truth? Probably not.
No, because during that period, it wasn't a problem. You know, if he took a pain pill now and then, it was no big deal.
There were some signs, and I was concerned about it, but he assured me that he had been going through treatments for years.
As long as it was being done reasonably, it was okay, I guess. But it got out of control.
I would take him back to his room, sometimes having to carry him to his room, unzip his boots, put him in bed, and then I would sit there for 3 or 4 hours and watch over him, make sure he was still breathing.
Unfortunately, the addiction was then perpetuated by doctors. But once you're an addict, then you do ask for the drugs.
If you're exalted, if you're the king of pop, if you're Michael Jackson, you never have to hear the word no.
Michael was a very powerful man. He had a powerful mind and he had a powerful wallet.
He was able to buy doctors.
There's a drug for everything, right? Your leg is restless. There's a drug.
He asked me once for a prescription and I refused, and that was a while back, and he never asked me again.
I did ask him about it in March. I said, Mike, I don't want to really bring this up, but is there anything, do you need help? Are you taking anything? And he got very indignant. He got mad at me.
I was amazed that no substantial intervention seemed to have ever occurred, even after numerous rumors of health issues arose during rehearsals for This Is It.
There have been very mixed reports. You can talk to a choreographer who says he was brilliant. You can talk to somebody who said he came in a wheelchair. Now, everybody seems to have an agenda with Michael Jackson. So, was he in a wheelchair? Was he jumping up and down and moonwalking?
In order to find out if Michael was fit enough to do the 50 concerts, I sought out Michael's longtime personal trainer, the Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, Mr. Ferrigno. Thank you.
How are you?
Very good.
How's it going?
I posed undercover, telling Ferrigno I was an out-of-shape gay canoe instructor from Canada who desperately needed to lose weight.
You were the man. I mean, he was in shape.
Yeah, I know him for 20 years. We spent a lot of time together.
Wow, so this is...
Yeah, this is my torture chamber. This is where I do the private training. Michael is a celebrity. It's private. It's one-on-one.
Could you give me the Hulk pose like this? Would you do that?
Okay.
Okay. Now, could you run me through a bit of the exercises you were running Michael through for the This Is It tour?
Yeah, you want to take your sweatshirt off and loosen up?
I was surprised to hear that the training was a fairly casual process, full of the playful banter Michael loved to share with all his friends.
Well, Michael came here. At times he would have a mask on, glasses, the black hat, gloves. And I said, why are you wearing a mask? He said, I want people staring at me. I said, Michael, 10 o'clock at night, there's nobody here. Please take the mask off. So he would just look around and he'd take the mask off. Then he started playing with my lights. He said he wanted to darken here. I said, no, Michael, I don't want to be dark in here. So he was always, pranks was always teasing me.
How many times did you work him out for the This Is It tour?
2 or 3 times a week for about a couple months.
And was he making progress?
Yeah.
he was physically able to do 50 concert dates. He always was in good health.
I remember commenting to my buddies when we went to go see This Is It. He didn't seem like a sick man to me at all. He didn't seem in pain or ailing or frail, as so many people like to paint a picture of him.
Well, the last meeting I had with him, which was to discuss a book, I thought that he really wasn't in any shape to do anything. He was very weak. He was very fragile. I found it to be extremely disturbing. When people are in a really fragile mental state, it's not a time for them to be pursuing, business projects of any kind, really.
And how was he without a shirt? Was he toned?
Yeah, all white.
All white?
White. White like you.
Are you serious?
White. Completely white.
What, his torso was right, his whole body was white?
Yeah.
How's that possible?
I have no idea.
So far just seeing who's in better shape, me or Michael. And be honest.
You.
Just from speaking with our sources, it was very clear that he obviously had a lot of medical issues. He was in a lot of pain. He was anorexic, basically, towards those last days.
I will say, my last time seeing him, that he had, lost a few more pounds, but I just said that came from him rehearsing hard.
Jackson wanted to be light as he can be because of his dancing. He didn't want to put on weight. He was a fanatic about it. So that's why when he came here, we got on the scale to make sure he weighed the same. I said to Michael, now, how much you weigh, it's not the scale, it's how you look in the mirror. But what's interesting, though, he had a complete physical, and he passed with flying color.
He saw a doctor here in New York. He gave him what was later described as the body of a NASA astronaut.
There was a lot of money at stake, and when that kind of thing happens, people collaborate to make it happen. Maybe he just passed it, things were fudged, and it happens all the time.
Now, I do know that the company in Britain didn't believe the report. Bear in mind, he was packing literally to go to London when he died. So, within the next few days, they had demanded a second medical when he arrived in London.
As rehearsals intensified and fatigue set in, Michael's need for escape grew desperate. Michael had to get on stage at any cost.
What Michael Jackson wants, Michael Jackson gets. So if he was to say to Conrad Murray, I cannot sleep, you've got to help me, obviously Conrad Murray did what he felt he had to do to help him sleep.
He told me he always had trouble sleeping, and it really bothered him, so he would just stay up late and then wake up maybe like 11, 12 o'clock. When I started with him, he would come here at 10 o'clock at night to midnight.
I think Michael Jackson died from exhaustion. He couldn't sleep anymore because he had so many problems. He had so many things that built up over the years that his heart just gave out.
You got to remember, he was in debt, $400 million. There was so much stress. We had the two kids. He had to do the tour, trouble sleeping. I think he needed more time to train, because after I trained him, then he would go on Burbank to work with the choreography, the directing, and the tour. I mean, it was a huge task.
All I heard during the final weeks of Michael's life is that he was missing his rehearsals. He could not rehearse. AEG announced that there was going to be a postponement. That's the fact. That's what was happening. What you see in the movie, I think, is not an accurate reflection of what really was taking place.
I saw that movie, This Is It, and I saw how hard he was working and training, and he was phenomenal. But he was a fragile, 135-pound man, and the pressure eventually, his heart just gave out.
It's impossible to name any single cause in Michael's passing. The real cause may be many decades of turbulent times and many lies in the past.
Is that something you just insist on, or is it something that...
I insist on it. I want to sail my own course. I'm the captain of my ship. I take suggestions. I listen to what everybody has to say, but the final decision is mine.
And Jesus said to love the children and be like children.
I think he was a classic pedophile.
The evidence showed this was a complete setup.
I don't get everything I want. There will be straight through.